Hey, everybody. What's happening? It's Cannabis Legalization News. I'm going the wrong way. Now I'm going the right way. And we are here. We have a pretty funny kind of meme thumbnail. So thanks for clicking on this one. Everything's fine. This is fine. This is good. Like the first couple of weeks of the Trump administration, so effing great for cannabis. And it's not like, for some reason, a whole bunch of new news stories are coming out about like all the problems and harms about it. And all these Republicans are saying that even if it goes to Schedule 3, we're still going to overtax it like it's a Schedule 1 substance. No, it's fine. Everything's fine, guys. Hopefully you are too. Did you bet on the Super Bowl? Let me know in the comments who you are picking. The Kansas City Chiefs or the Philadelphia Eagles. That's right. It's 2 years ago. It's the same Super Bowl. And it's Cannabis Legalization News. Our big story is that you can also join our newsletter right now. That has just popped off. And so every week we go over all the stories and we send a newsletter out about them. And you can sign up for it right there with that QR code. Now, let's get our co-host going so that we can talk about all the trending stories that were. It was a pretty busy week, actually. It was a pretty busy week of cannabis legalization news. And if this is your first time joining us, thanks for coming by. It's a great channel, kind of wonky. So subscribe, like it, and let's now get into the first of our main stories.
What's up, man? They're wonky. We are.
Oh,
wonky.
yeah, it is. It's wonky. I mean, there's things and then there's wonky things. So our first story that came out was not the worst. And so like we wanted to make sure that we had a better than crap story. And that one is that somebody is saying that we will amend the bill that we put in to undermine the marijuana rescheduling process, so that they were going to withdraw that. So Senator Pete Sessions withdrew a proposed amendment to block the Biden administration's efforts to reschedule marijuana, and it would have restricted the Department of Justice from using federal funds to implement marijuana rescheduling, saying, hey, we don't care if you're trying to reschedule it, you just don't have any money to do so.
Yeah, guess where he's from.
That was withdrawn. Texas.
Right? I mean, we just can't get a break, dude. I love how you put it like there's a lot going on. Well, there's
a lot of stories. Not all of them were good. Like a lot of them were not good.
Yeah.
To be honest, yeah.
Or relevant. Like that's the thing. I think there's a lot of just noise going on right now. And that's how it's going to be. And, unless rescheduling happens, there's no forward moment, state by state. That's what we got right now, right? This is, I believe,
states go backwards and states go forwards, and so like that's the thing. This is a highly politicized plant. That'll be the next video. I already have another video that our members have already seen. Like most of our members have already seen it because we only have about 50 members. 2 more joined. So
yes.
If you want us to interact with you during the live feed, thank you, Josh and Lau. If you have any questions, members, throw us a super chat or get at us. We will answer your questions while we're live. But that was the main story that we're leading with. And so Earl Blumenthal had some quotes about it. This amendment would have created unnecessary hurdles in a process that's already comprehensive and scientifically driven. And so did Barbara Lee. There's no justification for delaying or obstructing the process that has been long overdue. Of course, Pete Sessions from Texas, where they hate weed unless they call it hemp. We must be cautious about rushing into policy changes that could have unintended consequences, he says.
Mm-hmm. You know why I don't think there will be any progress, honestly? Because the roadmap's already out there, man. Like it's not part of the Project 2025 bullshit, right? There is no forward momentum for this plant anywhere in anybody's vision, I think, in this big agenda. No one cares about the hemp debacle.
Some people do, but like they think they'll deal with it in the farm bill and then just put it back in the box when it comes up. That will be coming up soon, by the way. The farm bill will be coming up soon because the country runs out of money in about 6 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks, like middle of March. And so they need to pass stuff. And I don't think the farm bill is going to get picked up into that. But, the budget year ends on September 30th. That's when the continued farm bill will also run out. So we will probably see a change of definition of hemp between now and October 1st.
I mean, ideally, we should see proper change, right, for proper regulation. But I don't think we will. I think deep pockets hemp is going to pay for the pause. The longer it takes, the better it is for people actively in this bullshit industry. Like, that's the unfortunate truth.
We'll see. I mean, I don't think hemp will be marijuana much longer. And it'll go back to being hemp, which is good because it was cheapening the movement. And so it was making us not as legitimate as we can be when we're trying to legalize medical marijuana, safe, natural medical marijuana, unlike that marijuana that has fentanyl in it. And so that was our other story. Congressman seeks to undermine marijuana rescheduling process with an amendment to the fentanyl bill. So that was Pete Sessions. He's at it again. Introduced amendments to a fentanyl-related bill that would have impeded Biden administration's ongoing efforts to reschedule marijuana, and it was and so that would have targeted the DOJ's ability to classify the rescheduling of cannabis.
It's just so silly. Why is this delay? Why is this focus of distraction? Right? You know, there's
actually, we also it was Rep. Andrew Clyde, a Republican out of Georgia, seeking to attach this bill that would also strip the Attorney General's authority to facilitate drug scheduling decisions and block the use of revised scientific review for currently accepted medical use that was in the 250-page paper about how rescheduling is scientific.
I like how comments, cheapening was fine where I am, right? There's people who are content with this hemp situation, and they are being lied to. I go to the store, walked in, purchased legally like a liquor store. Like, there's no...
That's what the hemp is. That's hemp in Texas or in most of the Republican states.
Well, that's people pushing boundaries, though, because as soon as they decide to crack down, because as soon as people with common sense want to test this post-made hemp, it's going to be hot for THC. You can test, you can pop positive on piss tests. Like, this is a no-brainer here. There can be raids and vape shops everywhere. And
the definition of hemp is stupid as shit when you realize that the difference between hemp and cannabis, or there is no such thing as cannabis under the law. The hemp and marijuana under federal law is a chemical that the cannabis plant does not make.
I mean, the importance of regulation is like our next story of how safe is your weed, right? Patchy regulations may leave contaminants in your weed, but the point is, it's just being caught, and it's being, part of a checks and balances. That most rules are written in blood, right? Like, this is how it works. Everybody cries about FDA and all this other stuff. We need to disband this regulatory body. That's bad for you, people. That is bad for you. We need grown-ups in charge of setting the rules and understanding what the hell. We can't have people who just be like, well, just because I pledge allegiance to the orange Jesus, I'm going to be okay. No,
come on, don't have to piss off half of our viewers because of orange Jesus. The story about this one is there are no efforts to, this is patchy regulations for testing. So product contamination and health and impacts from California, Colorado, New York, and they're testing standards and packaging rules. They just aren't doing what they need to do.
Yeah. No, each state's different, man. We're not going to have any of this, what do you call it, federal parity, right? I can buy a cheeseburger here and a cheeseburger in Illinois. It's going to be the same type of product, right? And then if, heaven forbid, their sourcing was contaminated and then there's a recall, then there's processes involved. Like, that's the problem with hemp right now, right? And then even
there's no testing for it.
Exactly.
Hemp was not supposed to be used personally. It was supposed to be for fiber and for other things that you don't eat. That's why there's no FDA rules about it.
Oh, 100%, man.
600 contaminants that were regulated across some 30 states and legalized cannabis. But interestingly, there's somewhere between 60 and 120 contaminants that are regulated. So the regulation on testing is not uniform. That would be great if Schedule 3 could try to uniform them, but they won't. And we have a couple of quotes. We have some from the governor of New York. She says, "This is about balancing public safety and industry growth. We can't afford to get it wrong." That's Kathy Hochul, governor of New York. We'll see about that. And then we have a dispensary owner, Sarah Klein from Colorado. While regulation is important, we can't ignore how burdensome costs affect small businesses trying to compete. That's right.
It's just so weird that there's no pretend whiskey market, right? I go get whiskey, it's whiskey. It's either cheap whiskey or it's really expensive whiskey.
Well, there's federal rules about like what bourbon is. There's federal rules about whiskey and how it's taxed. There's no rule about marijuana.
Well, even in those industries, they set rules to help protect their like labeling, like cognac, right? It can only come from that little region in France or Champagne. One of the fucking
Champagne's
things.
like that. Cognac might be like that. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, but there's the things, right? Like whereas cannabis being grown in the United States, if there was an overall federal state by state, everybody would have like a legit understanding of this plant. You know, like this next article from the AMA. If it's marketed as cannabis, it needs a warning label.
That's right.
This is all part of the fucking regulatory.
It needs a warning label if it's marketed as cannabis. So but if it's marketed as hemp, no warning label.
Yeah.
That's the thing. This industry is so Captain Cuckoo Bananas. It's so Captain Cuckoo Bananas that it's like, well, if you do it this way, there are no rules. But if you do it that way, good luck. And get a license, by the way. Stop doing that without a license.
Well, even in my state, man, how we test medical and recreational cannabis on our markets, it's two different tests. It should be the same test. It's still a human consumable product. It shouldn't matter.
This isn't just anybody who's asking for warning labels. This is the American Medical Association saying that if it's marketed as cannabis, it needs a warning label. That's out of the AMA/ASSN, the American Medical Association. Their website is saying that they need, and this is out of February 3rd, cannabis use disorder on the rise, and pregnant people also, driven by targeted marketing, because you only market cannabis to pregnant women and people that have cannabis use disorder. Cannabis use disorder, any use is abuse. That's why we have to get it out of Schedule 1, because after that, then you can have medicinal use as opposed to any use being abuse under federal law, which is really, really annoying. Let's see, they want prohibitions to prohibit regulations and prohibit advertisements within 1,000 feet of child centers, playgrounds, and schools, or wherever other ages, or where other areas where people under the age of 21 regularly congregate. It says the model bill that the AMA House delegates are saying that we need federally, but that means we would need any change federally.
Yeah, well, have all the cotton candy vodka you want, though. But you can't have a gummy.
Candy and whipped cream vodka, with easy. Go find the child-proof vodka. Go ahead, go get yourself a bottle of vodka, and do the child-proof. You don't have to jam your hand down like it's a bottle of Advil that you're trying to open. No, it is just a screw top, and like in Europe, they have these little things that make it really difficult for you to pour out. But see, that's the thing in America. Go mainline that vodka. Hey, it's Super Bowl Sunday. Go mainline some vodka. We'll be back after this short commercial break from Collateral Base.
Loving the working mic, dude.
Well, this one does work. The problem with the 420 break, though, is, shout out to Will. He's taking care of the fam today, not able to help us behind the screen. And I'm going to now copy this bit.ly, and I'm going to throw it out to all the nice 224 people that are tuning in, because they haven't started their Super Bowl parties yet. They want to catch up on cannabis legalization news. And if you do, go check that feed that just went out, because I gave you a link to sign up for our cannabis legalization newsletter. It comes out every week right around the same time that we go to air. The other thing that we're going to be doing on February 20th, which is 2 days after it actually opens, is the webinar on what you need to do to apply for a license in Minnesota. And Miggy, if you would be so kind to take that link I just shared on our group chat here for people being on, and throw that up so that we can show the people. This is also in our newsletter, and that is the link out to the. Do you got that, man?
Hold on, I might be a little high.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, we don't condone that, especially when you're trying to apply for a license. You have to make sure everything is done correctly. That's what we do over at Collateral Base. We apply compliantly. All of our applications get in. Even in Minnesota, the vast majority of our applications got in, even though 2/3 of them were disqualified, and they've completely changed everything. So social equity no longer matters. It kind of matters, but like in a very sad way that the people that are in social equity will find out. I will be throwing out, and that's going out to the people that are tuning in as well. I'm going to share that, a link to sign up if you want to apply for a license in Minnesota. The time is coming up. We will be helping people until March 14th when it closes. It's an open market. It's a very New Jersey style. And if you don't understand what that means, it means social equity is worthless. And so like people can just skip right over you. The people that are going to win are the people that have the cash and the local connects to get the zoning. And then the real estate. I apologize, but that's really what the writings of the wall are. If you're capitalized, you'll be able to make it in Minnesota. And if you're social equity,
well, all of it's dream. It's a rich person's game, no matter what. Any business, right? And I don't want to
think about our license. Mm-hmm. Think about that.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, and we're not rich people. I mean, like, we're not dying. We do well in America. We're rich by I don't know.
We were born into it.
Third world nations standards, but not, I'm Seattle poor. I get by, but I gotta get
comfortable in Peoria, but that's
there you go.
It's like one of the top 10 cheapest cities on the country to live in. So if you want to be comfortable in any city in the United States, Peoria, Illinois is one of the easiest cities to be comfortable.
Yeah, but the job markets. But the whole point being is any entry level, like if I want to open a restaurant, it's like you still have to get. The only unfortunate thing is we still don't have banking, right, for loans, any real way to properly say, look, we have a business plan. I mean, how many times have you gotten denied since we started this 2-year journey?
I want to give a shout out to Tom Patterson. He is a member of the channel. Oh, yeah. So questions that we see from members in the live feed, we are going to try to answer. If he throws a super chat, same thing. What's it take? 2 million? It really depends on the license. And so a dispensary, easy. You got 2 million will be fine. 2 million is more than enough because you can get loans for real estate development. And so we could have gotten one, but no, it's impossible to get one. If you're rich, really rich, so that you can imagine that you can afford another $5,000 a month payment, like a mortgage payment, without any other money.
Yeah,
you might be able to qualify for one of those real estate loans. That's hard. That's who can lose $5 large a month? None of our viewers can lose $5 large a month.
Nobody I know. Well, actually, one person, but but they're not. To get to that point, you have to build, right? And that's kind of what we're trying to do. But it's still an uphill battle because of the rules. If there were fair rules in any business, if we were to do a restaurant, the Tom and Miggy restaurant, probably have a loan by now, location. But it is definitely about the steep. Well, farming though, to be a grow, I think I'd be the more expensive one, right? Because now you're hoping this crop, you can harvest it and reap the rewards of profit, as long as you don't get spider mites, mold.
You got to test. Yeah, and so that's the thing. And then if they don't shut down hemp, that hemp didn't have to test for spider mites. That hemp didn't have to test for heavy metals. That hemp didn't have to test for mold. It just had to be THC compliant a month before harvest, provided that it was even tested. And so that's the thing. And so being a grower in Illinois is real hard. Being a startup craft grower in Illinois is almost just a guarantee you're not going to make any money. And you need to spend millions of dollars on the front end to start getting to a point. And then they've flooded the state with so much hemp. Like here in Peoria, they're shutting down one of the smoke shops. They aren't going to allow the 16th smoke shop, which would basically be the 21st dispensary. There's only 140,000 people in the total area. And we aren't including the Cookies is in the Heights. So the Cookies location is in Peoria Heights. That includes 140. So then there's 6 dispensaries and 15 more dispensaries. So there's actually 21 dispensaries in the city of 140,000 people, which is only about 1 per 6,500 people. And then 6 of them have to comply with the rules, and the other 15 are just selling marijuana and calling it hemp.
It's so gross, though. And I feel bad for the consumers in Peoria. I feel bad for the consumers of Illinois. I get this battle between people who decided that they were going to call it weed, but yet say it's hemp? Which, you're still deceiving people. You're still deceiving the. I wish their farm to grow table thing. That'd be great, but that's not what's happening. What's happening is somebody's middlemaning and bulking to gas stations wherever, which means they can go get the product, source it from Africa, China. They don't have to, and again, with no testing required.
They can source it from Oklahoma. They could, so let's say your crop fails a test in New Mexico. You could just dump it into the hemp market. But that's also something that you see in Texas, because Texas is the only thing that is the hemp market. And we have an article, Cannabis Policy Evolves. This is out of the reformaustin.org. Texans show support for marijuana legalization, but yet oppose THC. So it just goes to show that people have no idea what they're talking about. Now, some of this actually is me just being glib, because there's 62% of Texans are in favor of legalizing recreational marijuana, but there is a notable resistance to THC products. 55% said they don't want hemp to have THC or not regulated. And so they want regulation in that state.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? I don't know. I think they're going to shut down hemp, and that's going to be like $8 billion that goes away. They don't have to. They could try to, but all right. So federally, hemp will probably go away. Yeah. So they do have to actually work on medical marijuana reform. And Texas is a trigger law state. And so if we can get Schedule 3 and hemp goes away, and those 8,000 businesses blink out of existence doing $8 billion a year of marijuana sales labeled as hemp in Texas, they could have a pathway to get a license at Schedule 3 and comply with the law. I don't think that's going to happen, but they need a better medical program in Texas.
100%.
Their medical program is garbage.
Yeah.
And Florida announced their licenses a couple of months ago now. Texas still hasn't. When we applied for our dispensary license, in 2023, 2 years ago, back when it was the same goddamn Super Bowl that we have now, it was the Philadelphia Eagles versus the Kansas City Chiefs. You could be watching this in 2023.
Groundhog Day, baby.
And then they had their application window close about when ours did in April of 23. Yeah. Texas has not announced who won those CUP licenses, the Compassionate Use Program. Compassionate Use Program in Texas needs to be changed substantially, because it only allows essentially real hemp. It's like hemp with no THC. And so they just what they've done in Texas is, I have way more sympathy than what they've done in Illinois, where they create a system and then hemp still overrides it.
Yeah, no, Texas.
They have no system in Texas.
Yeah, no, but I forget that, it's so weird that Texas is part of America. The way they do things for their people. Like when it comes to so much money right now is being lost. I'm curious if all these new gas station weed shops in Texas, how they affected the New Mexico businesses, right? Because New Mexico was reaping in heavy wealth, right? When we were at CannaCon in New Mexico.
Remember, let's say your New Mexico crop fails a test. They have to get rid of the product.
Oh, got you.
Sell it to the hemp farmers in Texas.
But how would it test? Oh, because probably metals and pesticides. Oh, fuck, you're right. Oh my God. You could sell your.
There's diversion of product into the hemp market, and there's also inversion of product from the hemp market into the adult use market. So they have to figure out, they don't have to, they can do nothing, and they're very good at doing nothing. And the Republicans hate it. So I'm assuming there's going to be more doing nothing. We have a video coming out about how Trump's first couple of weeks have been going and who he's put into the seats that really control the policy. Yeah. Shout out to the dank informer on X. I don't have my thing here for X, but you can follow me on Twitter. I'll make a QR code for that or something at Tom at Withdrawal. But the dank informer, he takes pictures from Truth Social where Trump is saying he supports Schedule 3. And remember, Trump got rid of a lot of Biden crap, a lot of Biden executive orders. Not this one. Didn't get rid of the executive order for Schedule 3.
That's true. But again, it's only a matter of time before it gains in favor or people praise it. And then he's like, no, it's bad. It's bad because, the extreme left are trying to, get the babies.
I've noticed in the past couple of weeks an uptick of these weird, just negative Nelly headlines about cannabis. Like they are noticeably more. That's one of the reasons why we did the "This Is Fine" meme for our thumbnail. It just seems like these types, and like our next story from News Medical Life Sciences. That's newsmedical.net. So you know it's a reputable source that you can't just buy an article for. It says dispensary warning signs about cannabis use during pregnancy found ineffective. That's a study, but mandatory warning signs aren't working, says lead researcher Sarah Roberts. She's got a PhD, by the way, from the University of California, San Francisco. And she went on to say some of the respondents saw the signs as having stigmatizing or negative effects on pregnant people who use cannabis, leading them to avoid health care.
That's true. I mean, again, adults are going to adult, right? Like this is why you have an adult market. Unfortunately, most people will smoke cigarettes. Anyways, cigarettes have warnings on them. Like that all these
are disgusting. And if you use them correctly, they're lethal.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Though it's like it's just redundant. How like there's a whole study to say that people are gonna do fucked up shit. That's why. With rescheduling, if like with lab testing requirements, just have a gamut of like what you're testing for, and then because people are going to smoke boof, people are going to smoke shitty mineral weed. They don't care if there's metals, and they think it's a challenge, But that's America, That's where, man. I really do hope rescheduling does happen though, but I don't think, man. Like again, we're going to be in this weird, what if we say hemp is the transgender of cannabis? I mean, why is
they already hate it? And so, like Republicans know, I've been seeing a lot more tweets from them calling out, like they don't want this stuff at smoke shops. But the federal government moves pretty slowly. It's just that the Farm Bill is 2 years overdue, and the disagreement about whether we give $0 billion for food stamps or $30 billion more for food stamps is not on the table anymore because the Democrats lost. So they can't raise that issue.
What's
so they're going to cut the money, and then they're going to have a definition of hemp that redefines it. Like both Farm Bill's definitions got rid of THCA.
I really hope so. I hope you're right, man. Just because I'm scared, man. With this Doge bullshit and all the other randomness that happens all at once, it's I just think we're going to be at a pause until only at state level can you make a difference, or will something happen unless rescheduling happens. Because safe banking ain't going nowhere.
Talking about what's happening in Ohio. Yeah. That was the 24th state back in November of 2023 that legalized it, and they have 123 dispensaries, and they sold more than $255 million of product in just like the second half of the year, and just 123 dispensaries. That's fan-frickin-tastic. So that was $40 million in tax revenue to the state. That's not that much, but it's tax revenue that wasn't there before. And they have a very low sales tax with 5.75% sales tax and a 10% marijuana-specific excise tax on the product. There you go. They think that it will continue to grow. And with only 123 dispensaries in the state, that is nothing. Ohio is a similar population size to Illinois with 1 million people less. Illinois has 610 dispensaries under their license limits, with only 244 currently out. And then another 100 are included that are getting out, with another 240 more before they hit their cap. Having 500 dispensaries in Ohio, that's fine. It's like a really good and low number, in the sense that you can have high compliance costs, still provide excellent jobs to your employees, and still make a decent profit with such a limited market in that respect. But when's the next lottery in Ohio? I wanted it to be this year. They're supposed to have 50 for social equity. It ain't happening yet, but they need more licenses in Ohio.
This is a prime example, though. How you always, all these negative stories. And again, you're talking about how recently there's all these negative stories, right? Like this fear mongering. And to me, the party that's in charge right now, that's how they got to where they're at. It's because it's easier to fear monger, right? Than it is to actually have solutions.
Fear mongering story? We can go to the fear mongering story next.
Well, this is where it's all kind of like the Matrix, right? This is where, you talking about weed, you're always like this, because it's like, look, if these people really cared about us, they would be like, focus on rescheduling. Or it's not like instead of DEI. I'm so glad that the fucking
so glad I don't have pronouns in my emails anymore. But how about marijuana being medicine?
Yeah, man. Or just injustice of the business, right? Because here's back to the business side of things about Ohio and seeing their wealth increase, right? This for me has always been a wealth issue too, where make your bag for people, but like with Ohio growing, and then there's always the talk of like, cannabis markets are flooded and all this other stuff, like Oregon is. Like there's because we're fucking regionalized. You are stuck in these 50 individual type markets. It's not the overall market. There are people selling. There's the hemp mixture. There's so much parts that we don't see. I think there's so much potential for the actual evening out, but we're not there yet, and we won't be. Right. So all these news stories that we hear about,
it's politicized, and so like politics don't change. That's why we've been doing it. This is, by the way, 6 years, everybody. This is the 6th year of cannabis legalization news. If we were just talking about bread, we would clearly have 10 times the subscribers we do. But we're talking about cannabis legalization. You get shadow banned. And then we also we're not like Eric Kahn or Yola. We aren't just smoking and young on YouTube, doing stuff like that. We talk about policy and crap, which no one cares about. So if you're watching, yes. You're mature and like, responsible adult. Thank you.
We're trying to be. Trying to be. Right. And we appreciate you.
Yeah, especially the dispensary owners and the people that are on a license. Like, talking to people that are in the industry on it. That's pretty cool.
There was somebody in the chat who said they're a dispensary owner in Washington. Let me just go back up and see where you're at.
You do that. I'm going to go to the next bad story. The next bad story is new GOP bill would block marijuana industry tax deductions even after federal rescheduling. Hey, you know what 280E needs? It needs to continue to be there after the definition of 280E no longer is satisfied by marijuana, because it's no longer a Schedule 1 or 2 substance that you are trafficking in. And so they would like to change that to, even if it goes down to Schedule 3, you still have to pay the IRC 280E tax, which again makes zero sense because they were worried about illicit cocaine dealers in the 80s deducting the cost of goods sold. That's where 280E came from. It didn't come from state licensed cocaine dealers. It came from like guys in Miami that were like deducting the cost of baggies and their scales and all that other stuff. Literally, because they got popped by the feds. So they take all their stuff and they're like, hang on a second, I got to deduct all these things. And they were right. They got to deduct all those things. And that's where 280E comes from, that aspect. And that's why it's trafficking, because you can still deduct the cost of goods sold. They were worried that the drug dealer who they arrested would hire a shiesty lawyer, and then he would get it invalidated by being unconstitutional because they went to the cost of goods sold aspect of it. So they said you can have it. You could be doing the business. You just can't deduct any ordinary expenses for doing the business. We won't allow that, which again, but we are licensed by the state of Illinois or whatever state you're in. That is completely different facts than the cocaine dealer who is operating completely illicitly. That then gets arrested and they take all his shit and they make sure that he files his taxes and the IRS audits him. Completely different.
Well, I'm just thinking about this cocaine money rule law that was created. Was it because to protect society, or was it because money? Right? Like that's
no. It was because Congress was incensed in the '80s, and Nancy Reagan told everybody to just say no. And that it was when this happened, because this case came out like in early 80, 81, and then said by 82, some Republican in Congress said we should have this change to the tax code so you are not rewarded for a business of illicit drugs. And so like business owners, they can deduct a lot. It's great, because you don't want to pay the taxes. You want to get something and depreciate or take the credit right off the top that you can. So it hides, or doesn't hide, but it allows for cash flows that don't have to go to Uncle Sam then. So you can allocate your company's expenses to have the assets that you want. So like, our YouTube channel has had a lot of those deductible expenses because otherwise the consulting business has to spend more on Uncle Sam.
Oh, got you. Hey, here, I found it here. So check this out. Sapphire Cannabis. You should hit me up. I own a 502, which is a Washington State legal store. There's our tax is 37% and sales tax is 8%. But it's included in the purchase when you go down. But yeah, that's horrible.
Yeah, but it is. But that's how cheap your cannabis is then. So like you have Washington State has one of the highest taxes, but then the prices are still really low, which is one of the reasons why like Illinois needs unlimited micro grows. And so I would like a license that's 250 plants, call it for the farmers or whatever, social equity, whatever. Like get those licenses out. But like right now, they wouldn't make any money. They would all go out broke because every smoke shop is a dispensary.
Dude. This one hits me in the feels. $80K. He's down $80K. Yeah, but also a grown up.
Right. Don't forget, Miggy. Tell them about how you bought Trump's meme coin and lost all your money. Miggy's retired. He's never going to be able to retire.
$50. I just want to see, like, how does the man that killed crypto killing casinos killing crypto? Because Doge took a dove too, but like, yeah, I went for $50 just to get a taste. I'm down to like 20. Like, how does this even happen? It's like, no, it's fine. Oh, but yeah, we got the new GOP bill that would block marijuana industry tax deductions. Were you already talking about that? Is that how we got there, or were we just rambling?
Yeah, that's what we were talking about. That was the most recent one. So that's kind of hilarious. Where, and then so I went on. I already riffed on 280E enough. Like, this is fine. If you're just joining us, remember, this is fine. Everything that's going on in the cannabis industry is fine. We're getting through this. Schedule 3 is coming. We won't burn to death before then, we hope. Anyway, that was our last story before we take a little break to play Name That Strain. So go ahead and do that.
We don't have the music today, but we do have
put up the thing.
There we go. I like this one better. This is a pretty one.
There you go. That's a nice looking nugget, and that nugget is fresh. It's not. It's still on the plant. It has not yet been harvested, and so you can't really look at the nug too much. Definitely look like it has indica genetics in it, or more cushy style of genetics where you have those colas that are more like golf balls.
So that's a good picture of like close up. But check out this one too. This is the whole. Yeah. So this is from Instagram, and this is actually one of our viewers' seeds from their seed company.
Yeah, but this viewer also has a YouTube channel himself, and he's probably hustling his seeds on him, hopefully doing some business. Good for him. Now he's a great guy, and we've had him on the show before. He got into the grow stuff. A lot of the YouTubers are into the grow stuff, not us. Dry. Boring policy. That's why you're here. Then legalization. Like, are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? That should be like our thing that we hype on the show. We could have like a $99 course, activism and your state.
So I got a little strong aromas, extreme amounts of trichomes and flower that will make you new friends. The strain is aptly named blank because it's easy to grow. These ladies,
easy to grow.
It's not named blank. You know what I mean. These ladies can handle. Go ahead.
I don't know what it actually is, so why don't we?
Oh,
I mean, like, I don't know. Let's see if anybody in the chat has gotten it. Like the name, like it's not named after Chad, right? Like that's not the name of the strain. I'm like, okay, great. Chad Westport seed. That's what it is. This is one of Chad's. So like, if you bought any seeds from Chad Westport's, you may have come by this one.
This was he was tagged in his recent Instagram. But yeah, we can do a reveal if you want.
Let's do it.
All right.
I don't see anybody getting it unless Chad's going to be here.
So let me get that off. There we go. No joke.
Yep. Yes. Mr. T riding a unicorn. That is the symbolism for the No Joke strain by Chad Westport.
He's got the best branding. He has all one Tripeaks too, but this one is the parents are Westport Grape Juice Reversed and Kool-Aid Man. So yeah, man, it's so cool that we got.
Oh yeah, yeah. Kool-Aid Man used to say.
Hell yeah.
Back when he was a cartoon, Kool-Aid Man. Missed that guy. Story number 9: Hawaii
Sad face.
No legalization again. And so last week we were like, Hawaii, hey, maybe legalization this year. Within a week, the Hawaii House of Republicans has voted to kill a 2025 bill that would have legalized recreational cannabis. Long-standing resistance to comprehensive cannabis reform continues in the Hawaii state. And the advocates argue that the decision ignores both public opinion and economic benefits, but they don't care. They don't frickin' care. Another setback for cannabis reform in Hawaii, where previous efforts were stalled despite the state's progressive medical marijuana program. They do have a progressive medical marijuana program.
Yeah.
And whether they are going to get it legalized, we will have to talk about next year. We have some of their legislatures weighing in. Hawaii is missing out on a tremendous opportunity for economic growth and social justice by continuing to block legalization, according to Senator Jarrett Kakohokalai. Oh my gosh, I should not have picked Hawaii.
That was pretty good, dude.
I don't know how to pronounce.
No, you got it. I think you got it, dude. The one from the Republican, though, I think is the best, though. Legalization brings more problems than solutions, and we're not ready to deal with those consequences. Can you please explain to me, sir, yep, Representative Gene Ward, what those are? Because these blanket statements of like fear mongering are just wasting our time.
Man, I don't understand them. Like, where are you getting these facts, Senator? Oh, you got them from a nice check. And where was that check from? Smart approaches for marijuana.
Could be.
Okay, Sam was writing you a check. Very good. Well, that's what happens. And I don't know, like it could, like the hotel lobby or like the tourism lobby. So those people might not want their resorts smelling like weed. That really might be it.
Well, I mean, isn't Sam, though, mostly funded by, like, the treatment center type bullshit?
Sam doesn't have the money. And so, like, the people that have the money there are the landowners that have, like, those resorts that people go in Hawaii.
Oh, I
see. If it was legal, they're worried that it'll smell like weed, and they don't want that.
That's dumb.
So they would – that could really explain this, because then it allows for the medical that they have. So if you have a medical card, that's okay.
Yeah.
Don't be making my frickin' beautiful, pristine paradise resort smell like a hippie's basement. I mean, that type of prejudice, that's probably where Gene Ward's coming from right there.
But all of that type of prejudice, were people thinking like, oh, we need to have a DUI for this, right? Like, how are you already treating this? Because it's not going to increase, right? Consumers are not going to all of a sudden pick it up. Children aren't going to be like, oh, I want to get high now. It's just going to be whoever's doing it now is going to be doing it safely and legally. That blows my mind.
Oh, well, man. Well, the next story is about Oklahoma. The link is broken, or it's giving me a broken.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, it was.
And so authorities in Oklahoma raising alarms about cartel-linked marijuana operations exploiting state's oversupplied legal cannabis market to slip it out the back door to the black market or the illicit market. Color of the market is non-color. Money is green. Law enforcement officials report that criminal organizations are taking advantage of Oklahoma's lenient medical marijuana regulations. They are lenient. The residency requirements are probably the most stringent thing. And so those illicit operations, they are not only threatening public safety, but also the state's legitimate market.
Well, if the new DEA head's going to be serious about hurting cartels, changing and rescheduling it is the way.
Because then who's like, if are you gonna track the supply? Because then if you license it, you're tracking the supply, and then when you see people that aren't in compliance with the tracking of the licensed supply, you could say like, "Excuse me, there, sir, must have been some mistake. You've grown a lot more marijuana than you said you were going to do."
That shouldn't be an issue, no matter what. Like it just, if this plant was federally,
it's like tax. It's like getting audited by the IRS. Then, like imagine the DEA doesn't come, but the IRS comes. That's all I want.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah, you're not supposed to be slipping that out the back. That is a crime. Here's the penalties and the interest and all the other stuff, and then like selling untested product, that should be a penalty.
Well, the Canadian. There's a very small faction of for the traditional market out there, the illicit market, I guess if people want to say, right? Because it's not perfect, but most consumers don't want to go out of their way to meet a guy, to know a guy, to hope that like we all keep this trusted circle. No, I want to keep everybody out of my damn circle. You know what I'm saying? Like I just want to go to the store, make the purchase. It's not like I gotta try and make a connection for some whiskey. I gotta just like go. It's in bullshit, and I don't have to talk to nobody. I just walk in, get my card, walk out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep. That is how it is there, but not everywhere, man.
I know, but it could be though. You know, and until we have any good federal parity, we're gonna have the bullshit like what's going on in Tennessee with the hemp going on, where because there are still arrests, there are still products being stopped in interstate. There are still raids on gas station weed shops, like vape shops. You know, these, and it's all case by case per state. Tennessee hemp merchant sues police for $850,000 worth after shipment seized. Like,
yeah,
what? Like, of course, like, there's probably legal precedent, right? Because it's legal. But by now, do you think if post it tests hot, does he still have legal standing when it comes to like? Well, it was hemp when I tested it this time.
No. Like, again, if I'm the prosecutor, and so that wasn't hemp to begin with. That was marijuana. Yeah. And then when we picked it up, it was marijuana, and I would attack the definition of hemp first. Then I would also attack, like, assuming the definition of hemp, it still failed. And then I would also attack the purpose of the actual law itself. And so, like, right now, I got a filing deadline on Tuesday, and so, like, I'm coming at somebody with frickin' daggers, like, you know, drop kicking them and stuff. I mean, like, litigation is no, it's not nice. It's just the game.
No,
like, the facts that he has are terrible. The facts that I have are great. The law that he broke is not good. The law that I am trying to protect makes sense. But
this is back to that transparency issue, though, right?
There is no transparency in hemp. There's no transparency in, like, there's mandated transparency in the Illinois licensing market.
Oh, I see.
Not according to some people.
I thought you were talking about a different case. You're a lawyer, man. You have so many cases involved that you're like chasing people or fighting the good fight. You know, silliness. But that's part of what legalization I think is important too, because it gives you that ability to have like these contract lawsuits and negotiate. You couldn't do this in a traditional market. You couldn't do this in an illicit market. You couldn't legally argue for your, just desserts. I guess be the best way.
Yep.
But we'll talk about Florida.
Why not?
All right, we got Ron DeSantis predicts Florida Supreme Court will block marijuana amendment from ballot. That's a shame. That's
they've done it before.
Yeah.
And then it sounds like the governor of Florida is directing his administration to block the legalization ballot again. So that's been going on in Florida for like more than a decade. Having the Republicans that are running the state try to use the attorney general to stop the will of the people that want medical, that want smoking medical, that want legalization. And so they just keep moving the goalpost. They just keep redefining what they have to do.
Yeah, no, it's a shame.
I don't like Florida is like, I advocate for a limited market, but Florida's market is too limited. In my opinion, there is a sweet spot where like Washington State and Illinois and Ohio's market and that style of limits.
Oh, you just got you mute yourself. I think you just pulled out by accident. I do that when you hold it by your hand. It happens. Now you got the mute on the button. There you go. Not on your thing, but on the computer. Let me see if I can do it. Nope, I can't do it. There you go.
That's the problem with these.
Yeah. Now it defaulted to your headphones. See if that one's switched to your headphone setting.
Yeah, well,
there you go.
No, it didn't. It's different.
To there you go.
Mic
We're back.
So, yeah, I'm going to get the new updated Apple AirPod Super like speaker dealies because like having all these plug-in, unplug things when you're live is just dumb.
Yeah, well. And be just like exasperated. We got Virginia. You think they're gonna come through, or are they gonna get Youngkin?
Youngkin, you're getting Youngkin until he's gone in a year, and so like, they're just priming it. They're just priming it, and you're seeing how of a partisan issue it is.
Yeah.
So, story 13: only 2 of 3 Republican lawmakers voted to legalize marijuana sales, as the GOP governor threatens a veto again, or Youngkin is what his name is, and so. This is great. The Republican bill is getting votes, but the one that matters is the governor, and yet he is unwilling to recognize it is 2025 and not 1975. That is a quote. I'm not sure from who. They didn't put that. They just put that in a quote. And, come on, Tom Angel. You have to say, here's the quote. Here's who said it.
Yeah. No, I have no hopes for any of these places that are red dominant. I don't understand how people keep re-voting for the red dominant policies because, they
love not paying taxes, and they also a lot of business is made on how you like being Donald Trump is how a lot of businesses are. It's appearances over facts. And so the appearances and then suing to protect anybody from understanding what the actual facts are.
Sure. That's
half of the population, straight up liars.
Right. But I mean, it's unfortunate that these people have to exist off the oppression of, their success is the oppression of others, which is crazy because you can have a win-win. We are United States of America. Everybody has the same rules, right? 55 miles an hour here is 55 miles an hour in Kentucky. It shouldn't matter. Unless you have out-of-state plates and a busted tail light.
That's right. Out-of-state plates and a busted tail light. So we have some open chain. Let's see here. Was open chain on there? No.
That's true. A lot of money in a drug test holster.
Well, who's this open chain person who... It's Chelsea Higgs. There it is. One? Chris Obenshain, a Republican out of Montgomery, a local prosecutor. And so I've been consistent in my support for legal and regulated adult marijuana cannabis in Virginia, says Obenshain, who voted for the proposal. Status quo is confusing for individuals and business, and the lack of regulation or enforcement is dangerous for everyone involved. But Youngkin continues to promise a veto. So instead of getting rules in place that allow you to have a regulated market, that is less dangerous than what Youngkin wants because politics, because marijuana is bad.
Well, you can say things like by Rob Well, the risk to public health and safety far outweigh any potential. What risk? Can you just lay those risks out instead of just being general? Because that's where they get you. Here's some bullshit, bad stuff that will happen, right? But what? But what? And then Pennsylvania's trying. At least their governors. They got a good governor, man.
They have a governor that wants it legal, and unfortunately, it's never going to be because it's such a partisan vote, such a party line thing, and so he's getting that aspect of it. He's seeing that lack of Senate support could just totally torpedo legalizing it because of how difficult it is to get any Republican to vote for legalization.
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, I guess it's a good example too of the actual how legalization works federally. Because even though no matter how much the governor wants it, he still has to go by the process, right? He couldn't just do a whole
the prejudice, because these people that have the prejudice are in the office. Republican State Senator Frank Berry from Bucks, by the way. He has a quote saying, "I don't want to be walking down the street with my kids and see someone smoking weed." He's okay walking down the street with his kids and seeing a bar or a liquor store, but someone smoking weed, is it illegal to be walking down the street drinking a beer? Typically, yes. Public use. You're not allowed to be doing that. And it would be the same thing. We're not allowed to just be walking down the street smoking weed in Illinois. That is against the law. You're not allowed to use it in public, just like you're not allowed to be just serving shots on the street corner.
What about cigarettes? You're allowed to walk around and smoke cigarettes?
Of course. Well, but then you're not allowed to be inside a building anymore and smoke cigarettes.
Yeah. But people aren't walking around like bongs and taking rips. It's just if that's the fear. It's so funny how places are set back in time. Look at this. Sunday liquor sales just happened in Indiana.
There you go.
It's so crazy. When I lived in Jersey, that kind of happened. There's still places. Ocean City, I believe, is still a dry town.
Yep. Well, state-owned liquor stores, not state-owned cannabis stores in Pennsylvania, will continue to monitor the Pennsylvania legalization. It just seems that it may not happen because of the Republicans in their Senate.
Damn. I mean, that's unfortunate. Just
Senate Majority Leader Joe Pittman said that he had reservations about the health impacts of legalization. And then you aren't supposed to be able to buy hemp in Ohio. Ohio is an interesting state where they define Delta 9 THC as total THC.
Okay.
That's how they get you.
Well, they're all just different, each individual. Another one, Senate Banking, we got that with the forward, which I believe is not going to happen. Senate Banking Committee witness urges members to improve past safe banking. But again, this gentleman's from the Brookings Institute, I believe. Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's...
Alan Klein, a senior fellow from Economic Studies at the Brookings Institution, testified on February 5th to the United States Senate Banking Committee, saying that they shouldn't do that. They need to have banking. And do we have any good quotes from him individually? No. Also no, which is a little silly. We got one from Elizabeth Warren. Go figure there. There's one from Klein, way down. The costs of SAR filings are staggering and have grown sharply over the past 2 decades, says Klein. These costs are passed on back to the consumers and businesses, both generally and specifically towards those who are subject to SAR filings. SAR filings is a SAR. It stands for Suspicious Activity Report. So much so that, Miggy, do you have any idea what the dispensary is going to have to pay each month to have a checking account?
Oh, man. Like, what percentage of the actual account? Or
no,
is it?
Like,
no, there's a flat rate fee.
Dollar amount, yeah.
Flat rate fee. Let me guess, $100.
$1,500.
Jesus Christ.
$1,500 a month to have a banking account.
That's fucking dumb. This is America, baby. This is a fucking.
It's SAR report America, and so like Schedule 3.
Oh no, you went mute again. You just bump it. It's so easy to do. It's okay. It's okay. But especially when you hold it like a mic. Like I've always wanted to be like a on-stage person, but then you're holding like little ounces. It's heavy.
Nope. AirPods. Fuck this.
There you go.
And so like because like this thing, it's at such a level that it's like here for me, and I don't want it there. And so like I'm trying to have it here, and then it just turns off all the time. And then I wanted to see if this thing moves. Like can I make it shorter? No, you cannot. And so like the whole thing is fucked. It's just so stupid. One of those Amazon buys that I expensed for $20 for a mic stand.
Right on.
0 stars.
I mean, if you were taller, maybe.
And it's just it's stupid. Like it should be able to change heights. But then
no, I get it.
I'm the one who threw away the mic thing because I was using the mic holder. This whole podcast is bullshit.
And with that, we thank you for joining us.
6 years strong.
It's LK. Everything's fine. Everything's fine.
6 years, man. Hey, we got a lot of people tuning in. We got another good. I'm much happier like using these things because they just work. I mean, like, but your audio is not as perfect as it could be. Fuck my audio. Like, I want a better like experience than I want. Like, oh my gosh, you really sounded amazing when you said that vapid shit that didn't matter. Right. Yes, thank you. That's all I wanted to do was say some vapid shit that didn't matter. That sounded really good on audio.
That's hysterical, man. I mean, speaking of vapid shit, we may have a vapid guest. We don't know yet. It's gonna be interesting. Did you see my reply to the email?
Oh yeah. We have other people that want to come on the program. Get that lawyer that's trying to launch his other channel on. And I've tried to watch it. It's painful, but I think a lot of people would actually enjoy it because it's that it sounds great and it's vapid. But our stuff, I caught because ChatGPT helps us write the show notes, and I caught several hallucinations while I was live, which I never like to do. But sometimes it hallucinates when you're not paying attention too closely to it.
But I think people should check out our deep dive on What is High. I think that was a good conversation.
What is High was a good deep dive. I got another one. Like Most of our members have already viewed it, and so I moved its publication date up until Tuesday. So our next video, or my next video, will be on Tuesday, and then I have another one that I'll record. We are not going to be doing the podcast next weekend. Miggy and I are taking the weekend off, so get all the big news in now.
Yeah. I mean, unless like legalization really like rescheduling, I'd definitely go live. Like
that's
like,
that's not happening. That's not happening.
Oh, nothing's happening.
Yeah, you have an interlocutory appeal. Good luck on that one.
Nothing's happening, man. It's going to be 4 years of just...
Nothing is happening. And so, like, hey, thumbs up and subscribes for nothing happening, everybody. Nothing. This is okay. This is okay. Fine. Everything is fine. Yeah.
It's going to be fine. I mean, just focus on yourself.
Happen.
Yeah. But...
Well, we have good... So, like, hopefully when we come back after our hiatus next week, we'll have good news because I get to meet with the zoning board on Wednesday.
All right.
So go in front of the zoning board on Wednesday. Hope they really like our presentation and want us in the community. And then if that goes well, we'll go to the city council for the vote at the end of the week. Month. And so by March 1st, we could be zoned.
And that's how it works, folks. You get a license. You wait 2-3 years. You talk to the city. Then you go through the more.
You got to find the city, and so you get
there. You go.
You start looking around for where you can fit in. A lot of people are like, I don't want to be walking down the street and see my goddamn with my goddamn kids and see somebody smoking a joint. I'm like, sir, just because there's a dispensary there doesn't mean they can do like. You don't go to the liquor store and walk in, buy the vodka, walk out, and just start drinking the vodka. Or if you do, that's a crime.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you do, I don't know, sad. I mean, that does happen, dude.
Do it. Yeah.
It does happen, though. I'm just saying, there's hobos. I'm from the city.
You're from Seattle. Seattle is like 50% homeless.
Not just Seattle, is it? Southern California growing up, like just a city everywhere. Yeah, man. Well, I bet you got hobos there.
We do. We kicked them out, and so we had hobos, and then they took down all their tents, and they passed an ordinance. And then the mayor didn't sign the ordinance, but she did allow it to go into effect. And so that will be and it is already one of the issues for the mayoral election that's going on across the street. Well, I mean, it's going on in the whole city of Peoria, but City Hall's across the street. And I'm going to go to the March 11th one because, like, one of the places we were looking before we settled on where we were going to go was a location in Peoria, like one of the few that we found that was zoning compliant because the Chuck E. Cheese is defined as a school and you have to be so far away.
Yeah.
They wanted to open up another smoke shop there. And so that would have been the city's 16th smoke shop or 16th dispensary without a license. And so, there's actually 20 dispensaries without a license in Peoria, 21. I mean, I've kind of harped on this before, but it's a crazy, stupid industry where, I know one thing. In 4 years, the industry will be different than it is now, but the federal law might be the same.
Oh, yeah. No, that's exactly 100% true.
Except, the definition of hemp will definitely be different. And then that's what we need. We need a new definition of hemp, marijuana, and cannabis. And we just really only need two definitions. We need the definition of medical cannabis and the definition of hemp, and that's it. And so those are my goals for the 2025, those two legislative things. Different definition of hemp, different definition of medical cannabis. I don't think it's going to happen. I think the Republicans will insist on calling it marijuana.
And again, they're the priorities of if they really cared about the actual constituency. So many people have been deceived. I get it. He won. And it's so weird that people can say, the other side
prices have never been cheaper. Egg prices, never cheaper.
Well, even the tariffs thing, right? I'm seeing, how people are talking about, the price of weed will go up. And again, the parents are on pause. Cuckoo for Cabanas is still spitting dumb rhymes out there that are causing... People want to live in, a perfect, people don't like disruption. They want to keep it going. But instead, it's like the Doge thing right now, where people are the government efficiency. There was a time, yes, when people paid $500 for a hammer, right? But there are checks and balances. That's what already exists. But the thing is, when there's some, there was.
Let's bring them back. Let's because we are going broke and them. I mean, the deficit is up to $37 trillion, something like that. Where like we don't unless we want to be paying all of our taxes to interest on the debt, or like we want to like default on our debt and just create a huge market meltdown, like Argentina in the 1990s style market meltdown, Russia when they devalued the ruble style of market meltdown. We can do it.
Right.
If we're going to do it, I'm getting out of the markets. I'll be in cash waiting for the world to melt down, or in Bitcoin, and then after it melts down, I'll get back in equities after they've sold off 80%. But that's kind of like the crap that's going on. And if they don't make the government run more efficiently, you're like all your tax dollars are going to pay interest on a debt. Like you don't get any services. So like if that hammer costs $50,000 because of waste, fraud, and abuse, and you can get it down to $15, you need to figure out how to get it down to $15, because otherwise, what are you gonna do? You're gonna just start printing money?
That's what I'm saying. I think we've already, the last four this guy already gave us 30 trillion debt. I don't think this next four.
He raised the debt more than Biden did.
Yeah.
But they all raised it. And how do you stop it from getting raised? The last one that did it, fucking Bill Clinton 30 years ago. What happened to the Democratic Party of Bill Clinton, where it's like, we're going to balance that, we're going to make sure that we have jobs, and I'm going to go get that. I'll be right back. I'm going to go jogging and go to McDonald's. Sure you are, Billy.
Social media. You blame social media. But thanks for hanging out. Fucking 300 people, though. Fucking A.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, 300 people. Thank you. Hey, especially the members. The members are really cool, and they've already seen the next video. I'm working on another next video, and then we have to get another deep dive. Who should we get on a deep dive, everybody? That's really important. Like, we want to hear from you guys who we should interview. I think we should just start calling all the CEOs and just get like people in the industry. I'm legit curious about businesses like we have this brand out here, Ooh-Wee. I want to do an interview with them. Time, right? Right. We have not gotten. So the dispensary, somebody in the dispensary, like I don't even have an assistant. We will at least hire an assistant for me, and then like half of that would just be like, go do this, go to that. And so we would get more guests booked, because like people just keep reaching out. It's annoying. You get a podcast, it's like this, people will not leave you alone. It's good though. Can I come in and talk about bananas? Like bananas, like what list am I on? Like, why do you want to talk about? Sure. Like, sometimes it's just such a weird ask that I say yes just to see if that person's like real. They aren't sometimes. It's just weird how they blanket. There's no authenticity to someone unless you're about weed. There's no reason why they should be reaching out to us. But whatever. Like you're on a list. That's what it is. You're on a list. Like do the same thing with like the websites that I have. And so like if you get enough traffic and enough domain authority, people just start saying like, hey, can I blog on your website? Because they want to insert backlinks to their sites on your site. It's literally what it is. Well, everything's all right. Who do you think's going to win the Super Bowl? Oh yeah, go Chiefs. Chiefs. They won 2 years ago against the Eagles, and so let's see if they do that again. Yeah. No, I got friends that like the Chiefs, so there you go. But I don't care. I'm rooting for the Eagles because go Philly, and then not only that, the Chiefs win too goddamn much. I'd like to see somebody else win besides the Chiefs. Think of that Yankee syndrome. Mm-hmm. All right. Yeah. We will see you in we'll see you. We'll be live in 2 weeks. There you go. Live 2 weeks and then online. There you go.